In early October, Bloomberg Businessweek published a bombshell story claiming Chinese manufacturers secretly installed tiny chips onto complex computer circuit boards, allowing the Chinese government to allegedly spy on companies including Apple and Amazon. The reporting is based on mostly unnamed sources.
We cite 17 different sources in the story. Now, these are senior-level officials across the government and also senior-level individuals inside the affected companies.
But problems with the story soon emerged. Paul Triolo is head of global technology policy at the Eurasia Group, an independent consulting firm.
The cybersecurity community, which is very active, has become very skeptical of this. And you've seen a growing chorus of U.S. government officials unable to corroborate essentially the details and the points made in the original story.
Apple released a statement saying, in part, "Over the course of the past year, Bloomberg has contacted us multiple times with claims, sometimes vague and sometimes elaborate, of an alleged security incident at Apple. Each time we have conducted rigorous internal investigations based on their inquiries, and each time we have found absolutely no evidence to support any of them." And Amazon's chief information security officer released a statement saying, in part, "There are so many inaccuracies in this article as it relates to Amazon that they're hard to count. At no time, past or present, have we ever found any issues relating to modified hardware or malicious chips." And now one of the few named sources in the article is speaking out.
I heard the story and it just didn't make sense to me.
On the Risky Business podcast, computer hardware security expert Joe Fitzpatrick says many of the technical details in the article seem to be based on discussions with the authors about what may be theoretically possible, not about actual hardware hacks.
I didn't speak with any fact checkers. I see a lot of details that I gave out of context. So I'm not an expert judge on quality of journalism, but I definitely have my doubts on this one.
One of the Bloomberg reporters says U.S. authorities may be reluctant to publicly admit hardware hacking.
What we discovered was the U.S. government was in a very tricky position, because if they announced the breach, this is that could potentially damage a U.S. company, and also, this is a U.S. company, and that this was a problem with no solution.
Bloomberg is defending the article, releasing a statement reading in part, 17 individual sources, including government officials and insiders at the companies, confirmed the manipulation of hardware and other elements of the attacks. We stand by our story and are confident in our reporting and sources. China has denied the allegations.
The relevant accusation is totally groundless. Someone in the U.S. keeps trying to slander and frame China by making up a story based on hearsay evidence.
Some cybersecurity analysts are wondering if global politics may be at play.
It comes at a very, very sensitive time in U.S.-China relations, too. So some people have questioned the timing of this, too, and why this has come out right now.
The U.S. National Security Agency has not been able to corroborate the charges made in the story. An NSA advisor is calling for anyone with direct knowledge of hardware hacks to come forward. The motherboards in question look similar to this. They're complex and vital to the operation of computers and networks. If hacked motherboards do exist, the NSA would like to study them to find out who is behind the alleged manipulation and what they can do to stop future attacks. But so far, no hacked motherboards have surfaced. Jim Spellman, CGTN, Washington.